Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, your weekly deep dive into the Grand Line. We are covering Chapter 157, Introducing Ace.
And Oda is not wasting any time. We just left Drum Kingdom and we are immediately introduced to a commander of a Yonko crew.
Not just introduced, he's in a standoff with Smoker. He's looking for his little brother, and we know exactly who that is. The world of One Piece just tripled in size in about 5 pages.
The stakes are rising exponentially. If you want to keep track of every connection as the world gets more complicated, maybe leave a mark on our channel so you don't lose us. It helps us know you're one of the crew.
Nicely put. All right, let's set the scene. The Going Merry is a mess.
It's been days. They've been drifting completely out of food and water. We've seen them run low on supplies before, but this feels different. The air is thick with heat and desperation. The sea is dead calm. It's a stark contrast to the winter wonderland they just left.
It really is. It's the ultimate post-adventure hangover. You just helped a talking reindeer become a doctor and liberated a nation from a gluttonous tyrant. You're on top of the world, and the very next scene, you're on the verge of dying from dehydration, trying to catch a fish with your bare hands. It's that classic Straw Hat dynamic.
It's the duality of their life. Moments of incredible, world-changing heroism immediately followed by the mundane, almost pathetic struggle for survival. Luffy and Usopp are out there trying to fish with a tiny net. Luffy, a man made of rubber who can punch through castle walls, is just failing spectacularly.
It's so funny. He could probably stretch his arm down to the seafloor and just grab a fish if he thought about it, but his mind doesn't work that way. He's in play mode. It's a game to him, and Usopp is right there with him, the two of them just a symphony of incompetence. They can take down a corrupt king and liberate a nation, but they can't figure out how to catch a fish when they're starving. It keeps them so grounded.
Meanwhile, Zoro is just napping on the deck, which is perfect. It's not just laziness, it's a strategic conservation of energy. But more than that, it is a profound statement of trust in his crew. He trusts that someone, Nami or Sanji most likely, will solve the problem. His role is to fight the big threats, not to worry about dinner.
He could be on the verge of dying, and he'd still try to get his 8 hours in. You just know Sanji, if he were more present in this scene, would be losing his mind. He'd be screaming about the sacredness of food, about how Nami Swan and Vivi Swan are starving. Zoro's calm is the perfect foil to the chaos everyone else is feeling.
And Nami is just losing her mind trying to keep everyone in line. She's the relatable center of the crew in these moments. She's the one asking the logical questions like, why aren't we moving? And where is the food? She represents the reader's perspective.
She's the mom of the ship, trying to wrangle these super-powered toddlers. But then they see it. Land, the coastline of Arabasta. The relief is huge. It's not just a cheer, it's a collective physical release of tension. You can feel the whole crew just exhale. The dream is real. They've made it.
But Vivi immediately brings them back to reality. Her expression isn't one of pure relief. It's grim. It's determined. For the Straw Hats, this is the start of a new adventure. For her, it's coming home to a war. Landing is the easy part. The hard part is dealing with Baroque works on their home turf.
Specifically, Mr. 2, Bon Clay. Vivi gives the crew a rundown on his devil fruit, the Mane Mane no Mi, the clone fruit. And man, what a terrifying power for this specific situation. He can look like anyone he's touched.
It's pure psychological warfare. It's a power designed not to win a fight, but to prevent a fight from ever happening by dissolving the trust required to form an army. How do you trust your king, your generals, your own friends, when the enemy can literally wear their face?
It's the ultimate weapon of espionage. You can't have a secret meeting. You can't pass along vital information. The moment you see a familiar face, a seed of doubt is planted. Is that really them? Or is it Mr. 2 listening, waiting to strike or spread misinformation? It's designed to break a rebellion from the inside, to make allies turn on each other.
It's a testament to Crocodile's intelligence as a villain. He isn't just using brute force. He's using surgical, targeted abilities to dismantle the kingdom's command structure and morale. The clone fruit is the linchpin of that strategy.
But Vivi, man, she's been thinking. She's not the same princess who stowed away on their ship. She's been learning from them, watching how they operate. She comes up with the plan. Everyone wraps a bandage around their left arm. Underneath, they draw an X, a hidden mark of friendship.
It's simple, but it's brilliant. It's a nonverbal countersign. It's a password you can't speak, so it can't be overheard or coerced. It's a way to prove you are who you say you are without saying a word. In a war of misinformation, she created a symbol of absolute truth.
I love this so much. I get chills just thinking about it. This moment is so iconic. It's not a power-up, it's not a new attack from Luffy, it's not Zoro learning a new sword style. It's a solution based entirely on trust. It's the core of what makes the Straw Hats work. Their bond is their greatest weapon, and Oda just made that literal.
And it's Vivi's idea. It shows her complete integration into the crew's philosophy. She understands that their strength isn't their individual abilities, but their unbreakable connection. She has weaponized the very concept of Nakama.
Exactly. And the visual of them all raising their arms together? Super. It's one of the most enduring images in the entire series. Oda knows the power of a good symbol.
It also visually establishes them as a unit. They don't have a uniform. They have their Jolly Roger, of course, but this X, from now on, when you see that X, you know they're part of this specific mission, this specific promise to Vivi. It's their uniform for this war.
They finally make port in a town called Nanohana. Oda does such a great job with the architecture. It looks like a bustling desert city inspired by Middle Eastern and North African design. The crew is just desperate for real food, and you can almost smell the spices in the air.
And the second they land, Usopp is already in his element. He's surrounded by locals, telling them these wild stories. It's his default state. In a new place, with a new audience, he becomes Captain Usopp.
He's telling them about the Calm Belt, about how he single-handedly fought off these giant sea monsters to get through. The people are just eating it up, totally captivated. They're hanging on his every word.
But here's the thing. It's not a lie. Not really. He's exaggerating his own role, of course, but the fundamental events happened. They did cross the Calm Belt. They were surrounded by a nest of colossal sea kings.
Exactly. That's the tragic comedy of Usopp. He saw those sea kings. We saw them with him. He lived through something genuinely terrifying and legendary. But because he's Usopp, because he has this reputation, everyone just assumes it's another one of his tall tales. He has a truth so fantastic that it sounds like a lie.
His greatest truths are always destined to be seen as his biggest lies. It's a fundamental part of his character that Oda keeps returning to. He's constantly living these unbelievable adventures, but he can't convince anyone because he's cried wolf his whole life. It's a fascinating paradox. He wants to be a brave warrior whose stories are real, and he's achieving the real stories part, but he can't get the world to acknowledge it.
It's a great little character moment before the chapter kicks into high gear. While Usopp is spinning his yarns, the rest of the crew is heading for a restaurant. The sign says Spice Bean. They are on a mission for food.
And that's where we find him. The camera pans over to a crowd of people in a restaurant, all staring at one man. The focus is entirely on him.
He's sitting at the counter, but he's completely unconscious. His face is planted right in his bowl of stew. He literally fell asleep mid-bite. There's food all over his face. He's got this cool hat. He's shirtless, showing off a muscular build, and he's just comically passed out.
It's such a bizarre introduction. It's funny, it's strange. You immediately know this person is not normal. The narcolepsy is such a distinct character trait right out of the gate. It's a classic Oda move. Introduce a character with immense power or importance through a ridiculous humanizing quirk. It makes them instantly memorable.
You're thinking, okay, who's this weirdo? The townspeople are whispering about him, wondering what his deal is. They're saying he ordered food, then just conked out. It's a moment of levity, a slice of life scene in this desert town. And then the door swings open.
And in walks Smoker.
The entire mood of the chapter shifts on a dime. The tension just skyrockets. We haven't seen him since Logtown. He followed them. He actually chased Luffy all the way from the weakest blue into the Grand Line. His dedication to capturing Luffy is unreal. He's not just doing his job, this is personal.
His presence immediately raises the stakes of the entire arc. This isn't just about the Straw Hats versus Baroque works anymore. Now, the world government has a major proactive presence on the board. Smoker is a Logia user. At this point in the story, he is effectively invincible to our crew.
Tashigi's with him, of course, ever loyal, ever flustered. He's clearly set up base of operations here. He tells his men that the Straw Hats have been sighted and he's here to bring them in. His focus is laser sharp.
But then he sees the commotion at the counter. He's a sharp guy. He notices when something is out of the ordinary. He walks over to the sleeping guy and he knows him. He recognizes him instantly. He says his name, Portgas D. Ace.
Let's just pause on that name. Portgas. Sounds exotic, powerful. And then the D. Another one. We have Monkey D. Luffy, Gold D. Roger, and now Portgas D. Ace? Every time that initial appears, it feels like a thunderclap. It means something huge, and we still don't know what. It connects this new character to the very heart of the series' greatest mystery.
And then he drops the first bomb. He says Ace is looking for his little brother.
My heart stopped right there. We just met Luffy's brother in the story, but through Ace. Not through Luffy mentioning him, not through Garp, through a Marine captain identifying a sleeping stranger. And the pieces just click into place for us, the audience. The world suddenly feels so much more connected.
It immediately reframes everything we know about Luffy's family. We thought it was just him and his mysterious marine hero grandfather. Now there's a brother in the picture. Why has Luffy never mentioned him? What is their relationship? Is he a pirate too? The questions just flood in.
But it gets bigger. Smoker isn't done. One of the Marines asks who this Ace person is, completely oblivious, and Smoker clarifies, almost conversationally, but with so much weight.
He's the 2nd Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates.
The Whitebeard Pirates. Let that sink in. We've heard the name Whitebeard a few times. He's one of the 4 emperors of the sea, the Yonko, the rulers of the New World. Shanks is one. We know that. Whitebeard is another. These are the people at the absolute top of the pirate world, the final bosses.
This is our first concrete look at the structure of a Yonko crew. Before this, they were just legendary names. Now we know they are organized. It's not just some captain and his mates. It's organized. There are divisions. There are commanders. This is a military force, a massive fleet with a clear hierarchy.
This is a massive piece of world building dropped in the middle of a restaurant. A Yonko crew isn't a dozen people on a ship. It's an empire. And Luffy's brother isn't just a member, he's a commander, a high-ranking officer. That's like meeting a general in an emperor's army.
This completely reframes our understanding of Luffy's family and his place in the world. He's not just Garp's grandson anymore. He's the brother of a major player on the world stage. Luffy is punching his way through paradise, thinking he's a big shot, while his brother is already sitting at the table with the kings.
And think about what that means for Ace's strength. To be a commander under an emperor of the sea, he has to be an absolute monster. Smoker is a threat that Luffy can't even touch right now. For Smoker to know who Ace is, to speak his name with a certain gravity, it implies Ace is on another level entirely. We haven't even seen him wake up, and he already has more narrative weight than almost anyone we've met.
It immediately reframes our understanding of Luffy's family and his place in the world. He's not just Garp's grandson anymore. He's the brother of a major player on the world stage. Luffy is punching his way through paradise, thinking he's a big shot, while his brother is already sitting at the table with the kings.
And think about what that means for Ace's strength. To be a commander under an emperor of the sea, he has to be an absolute monster.
Smoker is a threat that Luffy can't even touch right now. For Smoker to know who Ace is, to speak his name with a certain gravity, it implies Ace is on another level entirely. We haven't even seen him wake up, and he already has more narrative weight than almost anyone we've met.
We then get a panel focused on his back, and he has a tattoo. It's a massive, stylized Jolly Roger, a skull with a magnificent white mustache over a cross of bones. It's Whitebeard's symbol.
He wears his captain's flag on his back. That's not just affiliation. That's a statement. That's pride. That's a level of devotion that tells you everything you need to know about the Whitebeard pirates. They aren't just following a captain for treasure or power. They believe in him. They are family. Ace has branded himself, not with his own mark, but with his captain's.
It's an incredible piece of visual storytelling. In one image, we understand the ethos of an entire Emperor's crew. It's about loyalty. It's about found family. We know what kind of man Ace is just from that tattoo. He's loyal, he's proud, and he's part of something immense.
So now we have this situation. A Whitebeard commander is in Arabasta looking for his brother, who happens to be the rookie pirate that the Marine Captain Smoker is obsessed with capturing. And they are all in the same town, maybe even about to be in the same restaurant. The sheer density of plot lines converging on this one spot is insane.
The number of ways this could explode is staggering. Does Ace know who Smoker is? Of course. Does Smoker dare to try and arrest a Yonko commander on a warlord's island? That's a potential international incident. He's a captain. Ace is a commander of a force that rivals the world government. The power disparity is enormous.
And think about what Ace wants with Luffy. That's the biggest question for me. Is he here to help him, to check in on him, to warn him about the Grand Line? Or is he here to bring him into the Whitebeard pirates? Imagine Luffy as a member of a Yonko crew. The mind boggles.
We also have to consider the timing and location. The Straw Hats are here to stop a civil war orchestrated by a warlord of the sea, Crocodile. A Whitebeard commander showing up at the exact same time in the exact same place cannot be a coincidence from a narrative standpoint.
Is Whitebeard involved? Does he have beef with Crocodile? Does this go deeper than just a family visit? This one character reveal just added about 50 new questions to the story. It's a masterclass in expanding the scope of the world without it feeling forced.
This isn't just about Luffy's adventure to become Pirate King anymore. He's now intersecting with the global power struggles that have only been hinted at so far. The warlords, the Yonko, the Marines, they're not just abstract concepts anymore. They're here, in this restaurant, sleeping in a bowl of stew.
This chapter is a pivot point. The story just went from a Grand Line adventure to a story about the Titans who rule the world, and Luffy is about to stumble right into the middle of it. Super!
Oda also had his author comment this week. He said what he intended to be a catnap turned into a one-way ticket to the very depths of a deep, deep slumber. He hates winter.
He's pulling an ace. It's perfect. Life imitates art. Oda is a genius even in his author notes. You love to see it. What a chapter. The board has been completely rearranged.
The introduction of a character with this much gravity this early in the Grand Line is a bold move. It tells us, the readers, that the days of fighting small-time pirate captains like Krieg or Arlong are over. The power ceiling just shattered.
The big leagues are here, and Luffy, bless his heart, has no idea he's about to walk right into a family reunion in the middle of a marine operation. He's just thinking about getting some food.
The potential energy in that restaurant is off the charts. It's a stick of dynamite with 2 lit fuses, and a third rubbery fuse is about to walk through the door.
I can't wait to see how it goes off. It feels like anything could happen next. Oda just threw a match on the gasoline.
If you've got your own theory about why a Whitebeard commander is hunting down his rookie brother, leave it for us in the comments. We're genuinely curious to see what you're thinking.
All right, predictions for chapter 158. What do you have for me?
Okay, prediction 1. Ace and Smoker do not fight. Not yet. I think Ace is gonna wake up, they'll have a tense exchange, but Ace will make it clear he's only here for his brother and has no interest in tangling with the Marines right now. Smoker, being pragmatic, will let him go to focus on his primary target, Luffy. It'll be a cold war, not a hot one. A show of mutual, grudging respect for each other's power.
Ooh, I like that. A show of restraint from two powerhouses. Okay, my first one is the opposite. I think they are absolutely going to clash. Ace wakes up, Smoker tries to apprehend him because he's a notorious pirate, and Ace just brushes him aside. It won't be a full fight, but it will be a demonstration. A quick, decisive moment to show Smoker he is completely out of his league. Just one attack that shows Smoker he is completely out of his league.
That would certainly establish his credentials quickly. My second prediction, we're gonna learn the reason Ace is looking for Luffy, and it connects to another pirate, specifically Blackbeard. We heard that name back on Drum Island when Dalton mentioned Wapol fled after Blackbeard's crew attacked. I think Ace is hunting Blackbeard for some transgression against the Whitebeard pirates, and he's warning Luffy to stay away from him, seeing as their paths might cross.
Bro, that's a deep cut. Connecting it all the way back to Drum? That's a Robin-level theory right there. I love that. Okay, my second prediction is pure chaos. Luffy is going to be the one to wake Ace up. He's going to burst into the restaurant smelling food, see his brother asleep in his food, and instead of being surprised, he'll just be like, oh, there's Ace, and smack him on the back of the head. He'll yell his name and Ace will jolt awake. The reunion will be so loud and chaotic that Smoker will be momentarily stunned, and they'll use the confusion to escape together. It won't be a fight, it'll be a classic Luffy-style disruption that derails everyone's plans.
A family reunion completely sidelining a major marine operation? That feels very on brand for Luffy. My final prediction is a bit smaller, more character-focused. We'll see the rest of the crew get into some kind of trouble in Nanohana while separated from Luffy. Sanji will get into a fight over a woman, or Zoro will get hopelessly lost trying to find the restaurant that's 3 feet in front of him. And it'll create a B-plot that complicates their eventual meeting with Ace.
That makes a ton of sense, splitting the party to build the tension. Gotta have Zoro get lost, it's a rule. My last prediction is Tashigi will be the one to spot Luffy first. She's so focused on Luffy and Zoro. She'll try to engage Zoro on her own, wanting to reclaim one of his famous swords before Smoker gets involved. This will inadvertently lead Luffy away from the restaurant, delaying the big confrontation between him, Ace, and Smoker, and drawing the arc out just a little longer before everything converges.
Another delay tactic. Oda does love to line up all the dominoes before he tips the first one over. He's a master of building suspense by making you wait for the inevitable collision.
Exactly. He's building the perfect storm, and we are right in the eye of it.
I suppose we'll see next week. Until then, keep your eyes on the horizon.
And keep that X hidden. This is Inherited Dawn signing off.
Super!